All right. Thank you so much, everyone, and especially to Anish for inviting me for this session. Hello, everyone. Hope your Sunday is going good. Good morning, good evening from wherever you are joining. Today, I am here not to tell you how to go ahead with the what do you say the software that we use for designing, but for the most basic thing that we need while we start designing, that is the creation of an idea, what we call as ideation. uh, how many of you are VBPs of your club? Just with a reaction, you can say a thumbs up reaction might help. Okay, Charan has raised his hand, Nandaram is there, Nathalie also raised her hand. Okay, how many of you are doing this role for the very first time? Okay. Now, see, whenever we say designing, or for example, let's speak in the context of Toastmasters, there is the meeting agenda. There is one person called as the Toastmaster of the day. They decide the theme of the meeting, correct? And they might have some ridiculous ideas for the theme, and they'll just put it. For example, at one of my club meetings, one of the Toastmaster put up the thing, but hitchhiking through the galaxy. And it sounded very much similar to the Hitchhiker's Guide to Galaxy. Then it comes to you, like how would you visualize it so that it's communicated from the club's end to the general public, to the guests, to the Toastmasters, and to all of them? How can you do that? The very basic step of designing is called ideation. Now, personally, professionally, I am a user experience designer. We create experiences, we build experiences through various stuff with user interactions and so on. But as the saying goes, like a Toastmaster wears many hats, we as designers also wear many hats. Sometimes it's small, sometimes it's big, sometimes of a different color, but we still have to wear it and go on with the flow. So whenever of some ridiculous idea comes up, like of the theme or any other thing, it's up to us to do the justice to that, to communicate it properly to the audience, not just Toastmasters. Now I'll tell you like why this step, the ideation step, is important. Firstly, it gives you clarity. But clarity in sense, whenever you ideate something, so many a time I've seen most of the VVPs or designers, when they will get the theme, they just jump onto Canva and start designing. I always tell to my mentees and to all the people around me who are designers, like first start with a pen and a paper. Write down the theme and write down certain keywords that are related to it. For example, let's take the theme of Hitchhiker's Guide to Hitchhiking Through the Galaxy. What I did is I put up the title and then, with the help of a pen and a paper, just jotted down all the elements that are there: planets, stars, orbits, space station, space shuttle. And I talked to the Toastmaster of the day, like, what do you want to convey through the theme? So they said they want to share a story of a person who is traveling through space and time. So, like, things related to space and time: planets, orbits, stars, and bright, shiny, etc., etc., and so on. And then I got a clear idea of that through ideation process and started designing. So ideation gave me clarity. It made the whole process efficient, and at the end, the problem was solved. It also helps in problem solving technique. So this technique you can use for designing, and if you have any other life problems in your life, then you can go on with ideation and try to solve it. I'll share them an example with you. Just let me share my screen. Can anyone confirm with a thumbs up if my screen is visible? Perfect. Okay. So one of the themes that I'll just share some of the few examples that I designed for my club with certain themes. So one of the theme was sweet delights. Now, when the Toastmaster of the day put up the theme sweet delights, I thought personally that it will be around certain things that brings joy to our lives. But then as I asked the TMOD, he said It's all about the Indian deserts because it was nearby the time of the festival of Diwali. What I did, like, I'll show you one website, which is what you can say a designer's best friend and a worst nightmare both at the same time. It's called Pinterest. What I do, I always, whenever there's a theme, I go to Pinterest, I search that particular keyword and make a mood board. Now, what is a mood board? I'll show you. For example, like taking the theme Sweet Delight. I went on to Pinterest and just searched sweets or Indian sweets. One second. And I got a bunch of photos of related to Indian desserts and sweets. What I did, I took some of them and created a mood board around it, as you can see on this screen. Now, why I made this is because it helps me to visualize that particular design for my particular theme. As you can observe here as well, there are certain sweets which are a square shape or a diamond shape, a circular shape, spherical shape. And then just take those elements and arrange or rearrange them and put them in a certain manner so that it's also brand compliant and your message gets conveyed properly. When I said, are we presenting? I can't see anything. So if you have updated your Zoom, there is a tab at the top of that. You can click on it and you can view the shade screen on that. Let me know, Vinay, if it's there. It's there? Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Now, with the help of that, I created this poster for my meeting. As you can see, I took the diamond shape of the diamond sweet. Here you can see. And spherical shape of the Indian sweet called gulab jamun. So it conveyed a message of sweet delight. It's related to Indian desserts. The message was conveyed, and it also was brand compliant. Next up, I said the hitchhiking through the galaxy. Similarly, I created a mood board around it. And as the Toastmaster said that it's a journey of a person through space and time. So I took those elements of space and time, or a traveling through space and time, a speed warp, you can say, and I incorporated those elements in the theme called Hitchhiking Through the Galaxy. As you can see, I use the circles to represent planets, or stroke oval to represent orbit, and the simple use of lines to show travel. And with the help of typography, the italics typography, I indicated the speed of that. So that's how the visual elements and the typography plays a vital role while creating any design. Next example I would like to share is there's a theme called as murder mystery. Now you can't explicitly show a murder on a Toastmaster meeting or a poster. That will be ridiculous. So I just went on Pinterest, searched around it, and found this thing that whenever there is a murder or a crime scene, there is one common element, that's the tape which surrounds the crime scene. Fortunately, it's yellow, and we have that yellow in our brand palette. I took that element and made a idea around it and came up with this poster called as for the theme murder mystery. I just incorporated one element of that, which indicated the idea that it's a theme related to problem solving or crime solving for the murder mystery. Similarly, one theme was around a movie, the Bollywood movie called Dil Chahta Hai. Now, the Toastmaster of the day wanted to do a in-depth analysis of that film. The theme was decrypting the movie Dil Chahta Hai. Now, how will I show decryption or decrypting or encoding, coding, etc.? I just went on Pinterest and searched what are the elements that are there for encrypting, decrypting, or a log. So I just created a mood board and came up with this common theme of locks, the spiral locks that we have. And with the help of that, I was able to create this simple poster of what decrypting Dil Chahta Hai. One of the theme that one of the Toastmasters proposed was, and it was very much surprising to me as well, was Legend of Hero Brian. I was clueless, like who is Hero Brian? What is Hero Brian? When I searched, it was a video game character. How will you convey that in a Toastmasters meeting? I went on, like I studied like this is Hero Brian. Who is Hero Brian? So I went on the internet, went on Pinterest and searched who is Hero Brian. And just took some of the elements from his characteristic and created like the legend of Hero Brian. As you can see, I just fortunately his face is square. He's the 8-bit character. Was able to convey that through the poster. Now, latest one I would say, like at the nearing of July, the Toastmasters they proposed the theme "Boy Born at the End of July." It's related to Harry Potter. How will you convey that theme to of Harry Potter? I searched, I took elements and noticed one common theme of maroon and yellow. Fortunately, also brand come brand colors are for Toastmasters International. Took some of the elements, took some of the visual identity, and created one called "A Boy Born at the End of July." Like only representing the colors of Gryffindor and making use of certain elements to convey that message. Okay. Now, why, as I told you earlier, sorry, I'm running a fever, so if might sound a little stuffy, please pardon that. As I said earlier, ideation is one of the key process of designing. Let's open up this conversation and ask you, like, what are the certain things that you all do when you want to ideate something or you want to start designing something? Let's open up the room. Yes, Vinay.
Yeah, thanks, Yash, for organizing this session. I wanted to attend
All
it.
all thanks to District 126. I'm just a trainer.
Yeah, thank you so much. So when I was VPPR and when I used to create posters earlier, we never had this brand compliance thing. So I use my creativity to the best of my knowledge. And the first thing I used to do is I would Google around it about the topic. Then I would use my own creativity to whatever is available on the internet. In case I need more help, I will brainstorm with some of my EC members or the club members. And I will also work with TMOD to understand what his topic is all about, what is he looking up to, etc. So I always try to make my poster as attractive as possible so that people who see it feel attracted to join the meeting, at least for the poster and the topic.
Exactly. Yeah, thank you so much, Vinay. One of the points that Vinay mentioned is brainstorming. So ideation's first step is brainstorming. Like when I showed you, like I went to Pinterest or the internet to search about the elements or the images about that particular theme. That's nothing but brainstorming. You are picking up certain elements from the internet. You are picking up certain elements around that theme, and then you are creating a mood board and then starting with your design process. Yes, Gangaram.
Uh, there are two things that I do whenever I try to create a poster. I did not know the word ideation, but whenever there is a theme, for example, last meeting, the theme was the art of motivation, and the theme all wanted to speak about how he is motivated to go to gym. So first thing that I do is to ask Timo to give a picture which is like now it was related to gym. So I asked him, do you have any picture with you holding you holding or you are in a gym where you are showing. So this is the first thing that I do. And the second thing that I do is obviously I go on Instagram and I check Gurukul Toastmasters Club and then I see something related which in similar in design and I try to implement my design getting the ideas looking at other posters from District 126.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much, Gangaram. And glad to hear that you go onto my club's page and I'm able to help you from that. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's dive into certain designing aspects. Okay, so one of the key point of any design is visual hierarchy. Can anyone of you just, if I say the term visual hierarchy, can anyone of you explain like what the first thing that comes to your mind?
The thing that pops out when you first see a particular poster has the most hierarchy on the poster.
Okay, so Charan, you were good at your point, but okay, we just remove the Toastmasters front from our mind for the first time and just say what do you understand by the term visual hierarchy? Yes, Abhishek.
Okay, so it's like poster design also a kind of communication, and in the communication we need to understand what we need to prioritize first. So visual hierarchy gives us this ability to show the element in terms of their importance to the audience in the way that we want them to see.
Perfect. Abhishek summed up it really well. Thank you so much, Abhishek, for that. On your screen, you can also see that if you're on speaker mode and my video is being pinned, it's big in size compared to others. so that our attention goes to the speaker. Similar is the case with visual design also. So visual hierarchy is something that making the elements, some elements big with respect to others, so that it gets noticed first. I'll just pull up one example of visual hierarchy, which is very common in typography. Just give me 1 second, okay? I'll just share my screen. Yep, there you go. Able to see it? Okay, so this is one of the most common example of visual hierarchy. You can see, right, read, for you will read this first, and then you will read this line next. You'll probably read this before the paragraph, and then you'll go on to paragraph. You go back and read the body of the copy, and at some point you may come back to read this line, or maybe not. So these are the elements, the visual hierarchy elements that are present in any of the design. Anything that you want to convey initially, like the thing which you want to convey on the first go, make it big. And then second to the line in hierarchy, then third to the line, then fourth to the line, and so on. In the posters, as you can see here as well, in the meeting poster, the theme is being conveyed first initially, and then the name of the Toastmaster of the day. The date, time, Zoom link, and the venue. It was all similar to the size of the Toastmaster Day's text size. So just to make it highlight, I used the square element to that, so that it's highlighted properly and it doesn't get merged or lost in the communication. Similar is the case with this theme also, murder mystery and hitchhiking through the galaxy. So anything that you want to convey, if there are two important elements, like for a poster, theme is also important. The date, time, location also important. How you can manage that is that you can just make the theme big, the name of the theme big, with respect to the other elements of the poster, and then the second important thing that you want to convey highlighted with certain visual elements. For example, in my case, I always use the boxes because my brain is wired in a certain way for the UI design, the user interface design. There's always see buttons at every point of life. Okay. The next is aspect ratio. Now, for example, if there is a theme and the Toastmaster of the day wants their photo to be present over there. Now let's add a theme. In the chat box, please help me with any of the theme that you want to see a poster. But just don't put your meeting theme and make your poster through me. You can use the chat box and tell me. Leader without a title. What do you see further? Okay. When I have seen a leader without a title. Okay, let's use the theme leader without a title. Okay. On Canva, it's very much simple to add. Like if you select the canvas and press T, you'll get a text box. Simple as that. And then leader without a title. Okay. So this we have a theme of a leader without a title. Now let's jump on to certain website and see what comes up. Leader without a title. So these are public speaking related posters or certain books which are there, like the leader with who had no title, or book by Robin Sharma, who's also the author of A Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. As you can see here, these are very much typography heavy, not related to certain elements. For example, like the galaxy or the switch, there are not many elements present over here. These are all typography heavy. So here you want to also make certain posters which are typography heavy. Or what you can do, you can use the photo of the host, the Toastmaster of the day, and you can build it around it. Okay, let's see a leader without a title. If you want to add a frame, you can just go on to Canva and just search frame. and you will get all these frames. Personally, I like the circle one because according to the shape psychology, circle represent a holistic approach and it's very much friendly rather than comparing it to a square, which forms a rigid psychology. Just use it, and if I don't have a photo, just I'll just use a photo of a man on camera, like just search it, and I'll just tell you example of the aspect ratio that how you can do that. Okay, so if we use this photo, so this photo looks good when it's big. When you scale it down, for example, a size of a small size of the element, that person's photo is not visible. Many a times I've seen posters in which they just put up a photo in just a small frame and then circulate it. I'm not able to see like who is that person. Just a one small recommendation: whenever you are scaling down that particular element or frame of a picture, double click on it and resize it to a point that the face of that person is visible properly, so that people can know like who is it, like who is it, what's his name. Like if I just saw the man's face with a torso, I'll have to zoom it. And if there is a person who is visually impaired or not gifted, like what you can say, have specs like me, you have to like zoom in, like who is this person to see. Just keep in mind the aspect ratio. Like whenever you're scaling down certain photographs, make sure it's visible properly. Okay. So for sake of the time, we'll just copy these two elements. Okay, now being able to do that. Why? Okay, I'm not selected this and this. Just for sake of the saving time, I'll just select this and just like change the name. Okay, so you have the club name, you have the Toastmasters logo, and then you want to make a poster, a leader without a title. As we saw when we ideated, it's very much typography heavy. So we can change that to the compliant fonts, the typefaces. So according to the brand manual, if you want to use any typeface for the heading or the title, you can go ahead with either Gotham or its free alternative, Montessori. If you want a body part, the text in the body, you can either use Myriad Pro, or if you want a free alternative, it's called Sans Pro. You can use that. For making this one, I'll use Montserrat, but in the bold form, because we want to convey it in a one go, a leader without a title. So we'll just reduce its size, and you can go ahead and play around with all the visual elements of typography. For example, I like to reduce the line spacing and letter spacing so that it looks convenient. And so to create a visual balance, what I'll do is I'll remove the word title. Copy this board, paste it, and make it all caps. Reduce the size, and to give a balance to it, I'll just increase its size to match this. And here in the typography font, you can also play around, and if you can remove the bold, it just gives a balance to it. A leader without a title. And you can also do one thing: go ahead with the alignment of it, play around, just see what wonders can you do. For example, this is the TMOD. You can just copy this, write the name, for example, Toastmaster John Doe. It's a generic name. Okay, my caps lock is on. And I'm getting the Zoom pop-up again, so I'm not able to concentrate. Okay. Okay. Okay, now this forms the part of the body of poster. So for body, we can go ahead with either Montessori only, or we can go ahead with the body part of the Source Sans Pro and reduce its size. And just if you want to create a visual balance, if there are elements to the left of the post, you can also add element to the right of the post. A simple way to do that is just click R, it will give you a rectangle. Go ahead, align it with your typography if you want to, and then reduce some of the size. And it just create a visual balance. Another way to do that is using of visual elements with another elements. If you have the title, you can just go ahead, place it over here. It will act as the balancer for your poster. So in design, it's very much important to maintain the hierarchy, the balance, and the harmony. So it's aligned properly. And there you go. It's just a simple poster which conveys the leader without a title. The title is big because to create, firstly, to create balance. Secondly, it's conveying the message that without a title, you can also work. It's big on that front, the leader without a title. And then you can go ahead, add your meeting details. I'll just saving time, I'll just copy these elements and paste it over here. And accordingly, you can change that for your meeting if it's possible. And don't forget to add like the social links that we got, because it just gives a call to action to certain people that these people are also present over social media. They can go ahead, they can follow us, and then as a BBPI, your works become easy to gain followers and gain traction over social media. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I'm just feeling under the weather. Okay, so that's how you can go ahead with that. If you want to design any of the poster, any of the visual, for example, a meeting poster, or a milestone meeting, or a workshop, or a trainer session, or just want a member spotlight, a member highlight, a level completion, you can go ahead with that. Just make sure it's brand compliant. How you can do that? Take certain elements, find the most common one, use that in form of shape. Else, you can go ahead with the typography heavy design. Personally, I would recommend to you just go on this website called as Pinterest and just search for typography design. That's how I initially used to do that. Here you can get a bunch of inspiration boards, bunch of inspiration design that you can use for your next poster. Similarly, I also like just yesterday I searched Toastmasters on that, and there you can okay, then not coming up. Okay, why it's showing Indian sweets? I don't know. Okay, I think the website is broken or it's drunk. Please enjoy Sunday evening. I don't know. Okay, so whenever you search like certain keywords, will get those elements of that. You can go ahead, make an inspiration board for yourself on printers. Use that in your posters. Because see, we learn from others. And whenever some other person is doing something good, we should learn from that. But just one advice is just don't blatantly copy that front. Take certain elements of that, whichever you like, go ahead, ideate, because ideation will give you that originality, the uniqueness to your club or to your design. And then just go ahead with designing. And I'm sure that we'll able to see many other posters in future as well, which are brand compliant and visually appealing. Now I can, Anish, if we can open the room for Q&A.
Sure. With that being said, thank you so much, Yash. And yes, the stage is now open for questions. So if anyone has a question, so you can raise the hand, we'll unmute and you can ask the question.
And we got an ample amount of time. Like I'm also surprised that I finished it in 30 minutes or so.
Okay. Yeah, Gangaram has one question.
Yes.
Hi, Yash. So in previous poster that you have created, there is ample amount of space remaining in the poster. So what, because I have many of the times when I review this poster with my friends or other Toastmasters, they say you have so many space left in the poster, even though I don't feel nothing should be added in that space. Do you recommend keeping the space, or do you want to add something, some elements to it?
Okay, thank you so much for that question, Gangara. So personally, I'm not a fan of heavy posts or heavy designs. What I do, I explicitly keep those negative spaces around the posters, because whenever we, in general, if we see other designs as well, for example, any of the product that we see, there is a lot of space around it. But that space gives, that's called the breathing space or the negative space which is present at any of the design, which gives a poster certain space to focus on, as I said, visual hierarchy, to focus on certain elements of that brand. For that particular poster, if we add another elements, another heavy elements to that, or a filler one, adding filler elements can be useful, can be used in clever way to draw attention as negative space. Okay, so filler elements can be used, but I would recommend not to, because it doesn't make it a clean design from my end. As a product designer, I make negative space around it, I make clear space around it, so that the element which I want to focus has some breathing space, and people, whenever they see certain posters, the attention goes to that front only. So it's up to you, Toastmaster Gangaram. Like, if you are happy with your design, if there is negative space, go for it. Otherwise, if you want to add something, you can just go ahead, add certain elements. But whenever we make some, add some elements which are visually heavy, it just doesn't look pleasing to our eyes. It create that certain disbalance in that design.
Makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, Nandini.
Thank you, Toastmaster Yash, for this session. Firstly, I have a question with regard to the pictures which are posted on Instagram after the meeting. So, one second, if I am allowed to share my screen, is it fine?
I'm not the host, so I can't tell.
Actually, you don't have the host or host, so you cannot share it, but you can share in the chat if it's possible.
Okay. So no, nothing. It's just that I felt it would be easier to understand if I shared my screen. So my concern is that we have pictures, say like a group picture, or then after that we have speakers who are best speakers or best table topics, and many people in the meeting who are winning the awards and all of that. And if I want to make a nice post for the Instagram, which is compliant, how do you suggest me to do it in such a way that it's appealing and it doesn't look clumsy, that I'm clubbing so many faces together in one post and putting it on Instagram?
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Nandini, for that question. So again, as I said, visual hierarchy is very much important for designing any of the poster. So firstly, just note down like what you want to convey first. Initially, that a person is winning an award. So that's the first thing that you want to convey. The name of that person, the award, and the photo. Place it in certain manner so that the photo, the name, and the award which he or she has won is displayed, and then you can add visual elements around it. I just share one example from. Okay, let's take an example from my home club only. That would be best. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'll just share my screen. Okay, so for instance, there was this new member announcement for my club. So what I did, I wanted to convey that this is the person, that he's a new member. I just used his photo, his name, and just used a new member. Welcome aboard Toastmaster Hastivedi, #new member. That's it. Clean design. I wanted to convey this is this person, that he's a new member. And that's it. You can go ahead and use certain ideation for that front only. For example, if we take the example of these carousel posts that we post at the, like, after the meeting that we have. So I just take a group photo and add the meeting theme to that. So this was the meeting number, that was the theme. and then just I add around in the carousel the glimpses of these particular meeting that although the ongoing of this meeting, and I just say best table topic speaker was Toastmaster Dipalika, best role player Indian, best outside role player Grameen. Photo title, that's it. I just take this approach. So you can take the similar approach also and go ahead with your poster designing journey. I think that was helpful for you, Nandini.
Thank you.
Welcome. Any other questions that you have in mind? Yes, Abhishek.
Okay. Yes. Thank you so much. Yes, this was a very wonderful ideas to think about how we can present the poster, given the brand compliant. Okay. So I have one more question. So when creating the poster, we have the ideation. We know that how we are going to what makes it look in certain way. But how do you think about the layout of the poster and how the elements should be organized?
Okay. Thank you so much, Abhishek. Just again, the same thing, visual hierarchy. What I want to convey is the most important. It will go big center. And then all the other elements around it balancing the poster. That's it.
Okay. Got it.
Any other questions that you might have? Okay, as of now, if you don't have any questions, you can connect with me over LinkedIn. I'm very much active over there. You can just search Yash Banarsi. Message me over there. I'll be more than happy to answer you. And I guess we are good to go. Anish?
Yes. Do anyone have any other questions as of now? Just last final call. Yes, Anusha.
Yes, Anusha.
Good evening, Yash. Thank you so
Good
much for
evening.
taking this session. I really learned a lot from this. I just had a very simple question. So ours is actually a college club, and our posters, whatever we are designing, that gets displayed. We have a TV wherein we display the posters before the meeting. So when you're talking about adding a lot of elements and showing the title in the right way, so in the process of doing that, sometimes we don't add the picture of the TMOD. So only when the elements are there. So I've seen people attending our meetings only when picture of the person is there. Okay, so this person is taking it, it'll be interesting. So that is when people end up turning, and nobody actually there don't look at the way the poster is designed and all of that. So like, how do you want us to go about it? We want the poster to look good, but at the same time we want the TMOD's picture also to be there. So what do you suggest? How do we go about with this?
Okay, thank you so much, Anusha, for that question. So Anusha said one important thing is that whenever there is someone's picture in the college displayed, people tend to attend it more. So knowing your audience is one of the key elements. So for Anusha, for your college club, if placing the picture of the Toastmaster of the day of that person brings traction to your club, brings a guest to your club, go ahead and use their photo. If not, you can just use the term, like you can leverage the brand of Toastmasters for that, like Toastmasters 100 years international club, attend the meeting, get the, what you can say, get the experience of an international club, or you can just use hooks. You can use various hooks, for example, beat the fear of public speaking with us, or are you afraid of speaking in public, or if you want to ace your interviews, if you want to ace your presentation, you can just use that hooks to bring traction to the club if the person's photo is not present over there. I guess that helped, Anusha.
Yes, but I just had one more thing. So I mean, is it fine? Because like sometimes when we are like highlighting the picture of the person, so somewhere the aspects that you've mentioned may or may not get implemented. So is it fine if we don't go ahead and do it and we just give more importance to the person who's the TMOD rather than the theme they are talking about? Because we are getting more traction because of the people who is taking up that role. So would that be fine, or
Yes, it's completely fine as long as it's brand compliant. It's completely fine.
okay? Yeah. Thank
Just
you.
one suggestion. Just one
Yes.
suggestion is that whenever you are putting up any picture of the Toastmaster or any of the person, make sure it's a professional photo. Like if they're standing in a well-dressed manner, or a particular formal way. Just avoid those photos which are out of the way. Like, for example, if someone is eating food and you put that picture, so that doesn't give that professional element to the brand of Toastmasters.
Okay. Thank
Just
you.
make sure of that. And as long as brand compliant, you can go ahead with that. No worries.
Thank you.
Most welcome. Yes, Harshit.
Thank you so much. Yes, I had a doubt regarding the choice of color in the posters. Despite the limited choices we have according to brand manual, we have ample amount of colors regarding be it the uh, be it the color which we have. So how do I decide whenever a meeting a poster is coming? How do I decide which color is suitable for it?
Okay, thank you so much, Harshit, for that question. If you go ahead and just go ahead and study the brand guidelines of other companies or other brands, for example, the best guideline that I can think about is the brand guidelines for Coca-Cola. Now, Coca-Cola in their branding manual, they have heavily used the red color, which defines their brand. Okay, so think of your club as a brand within Toastmasters. I'll just share you what I'm talking about. If you can see the page of my home club that I manage, Gurukul Toastmasters, I go ahead with white element, the background of white that I want to convey. And I just highlight certain elements with the brand colors. If you see my designs, you can see the usage of white is prominent over there because I want to make that brand of my club stand out. Some of the club might use the blue color, some of the club might use the maroon one. It's all up to you, like how you want to brand your club in public. I would recommend to you use the lighter colors like white so that it stands out, the element stands out. If you want to go ahead with blue, you can go ahead, just make sure the contrast is there. If you put maroon elements over blue, that creates a bad contrast. You can use white over it, you can use yellow over it, you can use gray over it. Similar is the case with gray. If you put yellow over gray, it's not visible properly. You can use black, you can use blue, and then so on. Personally, I would recommend using the lighter tones for the background, the background, and the darker tones for the foreground elements.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Any other questions that we have? Let me check the chat box. We have certain messages. Do you have anything to share about the myths in brand manual that most BBPRs are things true? Okay, so one of the thing that the brand manual says that the brand manual is applicable to the club's area, division, till district, till the regional level. Many of the people contact me and say, see, Toastmasters International is using certain elements which goes against the brand manual. So I will share it with you is that the brand manual is only applicable till the regional level. So Toastmasters International can use their elements, but we as club till the regional level, we have to stick to the brand manual. That's one of the myths that I always, the question that I always get while I take the workshop for the VVPRs. With that final late due to distance and time, can I have the recording? Yes, I think Anish might help you with this recording. The district D126 account and the the district public relations manager of our district. Any other questions? I saw one of the raise of hands while I was reading the chat. Can I know who was it? Okay, I guess we don't have any questions as of now. All right. So Anish, I think we are good to go from now.
Sure, Yash. I think I feel that there's no more questions anymore as of now. But still, as Yash has mentioned, if you have any questions which pops up later after 1 hour, 2 hours, after a couple of hours or days have gone after the session, when you're going through the process of using the ideation and designing your posters, if again the questions comes up, you can reach out to him over the LinkedIn. Yes, if possible, could you just share your LinkedIn?
Yes, just
Yes,
share.
you have shared. Okay, perfect. Sure. So the LinkedIn link has been shared in the chat for all the participants. With that being said, thank you so much, everyone. And before we close, I actually have one thing to share. If that is possible, let me just take a minute to share. Okay. So as Gagan, thank you so much, Yash, that you have actually accepted my request of taking up the session. With that being said, this is from our end. Thank you so much, Yash. And if I could request anyone to take up a picture from the brand, like from the DPRM Extended team, anyone, if you can take a picture, if you can share, or I'll just take a screenshot and I'll share it. Perfect. I have taken it. Okay. Okay. And yes, with that being shared, that was all from my end. Now, thank you so much, Yash, once again for giving us the clarity of how to bring the idea and the creation of the posters, bringing them close together. I hope everyone in the audience have got a clarity now how to go ahead. So last final thing before closing, I would request everyone, if possible, can turn on the video. So first of all, I'll remove you from the spotlight. So, and yes, if everyone can just turn on the video so that we can take, commemorate this moment by taking pictures or like having this recorded.
Just one more thing, Anish.
Yes, yes.
So if you all are into designing and you want to learn more, there is one great book by this author called Don Norman. He is termed as the father of UX designing. The book is called The Design of Everyday Things. If you can, if you are a reader, go ahead, read that book. It's one of the best designing books that you can get. And just post the link here. And that book will help not only in design, but in your life as well.